All right. Let's go. It's me, Puddle Cakes, and I'm gonna make a video that's a little different today. I think I say it every day about my videos, but a video I'm gonna go over the two new infantry commanders a little bit, a smidge. Um, I kind of guessed this in the Archer Den and a few other Discord channels, but I kind of want to go over them because it's gonna show how the meta is gonna change quite a bit. Not necessarily like take away from Cavs rallies or Archer rallies, but I think it's going to allow infantry to tank those whales like they're supposed to. We'll see. Um, and then I also want to talk about what commanders aren't in the game yet. I've been doing a little bit of research lately and trying to figure out what commanders we don't actually have in the game yet. And, you can't really, some people are like, well, why don't they have like uh, who are like Merlin or or anything like that. And realistically, this game hasn't had any mythological things in it. Um, a lot of what this game has had is actual historical figures that were great commanders. Um, like Infinity Kingdom is a cool game to base commanders off of, but not all of them are real in a way. Uh, I mean, but then at the same time, they have a lot of similar commanders. So, but let's get started. I'm actually going to go off this site. I do not have any affiliation with RoK Guide or anything, but they have it nice and big, so it makes it easier. So, the first new commander, CJG, is pretty much a beast. This is what he looks like. He's so beautiful. Um, but his first skill is courageous. It's deals direct damage 1700 to the target. If the target has been reduced to 30% or less, it does an additional damage factor of 300. So if anyone plays a game, any game, any game like World of Warcraft or anything like that, there's always been like this execute type skill or idea, and that's kind of cool. A lot of warriors, a lot of infantry type battlefield warriors had this kind of skill, so it's kind of neat. Um, and that's going to really, really hurt people in cities. I mean, 2000 damage factor. It's a little depressing for someone like me who's been, Archer Gang, and Edward is the highest damage person we have, and they made us. Edward, that, that skill to cost 1350, which is ridiculous. And this is just a normal skill. So kind of depressing a little bit. The second skill is a passive skill. Make sure it's on the screen. Infantry units led by this commander gain 40% increased attack. They deal 5% more damage to calves, but 5% more damage taken from archers. I obviously like this one, but there are other skills in this that make me sad. So the third skill, stalwart. While on the map, troops led by this commander have a 40% chance to take 50% less skill damage. Can only be triggered once every 4 seconds. Make me more and more sad. I think what this means. I'll go back to it, but yeah, it means something's going to change for the Archer Gang here in next the next tier of archers. Sacrifice, also another infantry type warrior style skill in most games. If troops led by this commander consist only of infantry, they gain 15% movement speed with a 100% chance of dealing 5% increased skill damage for 8 seconds when attacking. This effect can trigger once every 4 seconds and can be stacked up to 8 times. So I think this is a lot like the trinkets, the accessories. So it's going to be the same concept of it can stack, but it's probably going to, yeah, I don't know. I hope it doesn't stack all the time. That would be insane. I mean, if if that's the case, then they have to make the the accessories better because the accessory. Well, I guess the accessories are 30%, so this is 100%. That's crazy. That just means that the longer the fight goes on, you're getting 40% increased skill damage. Does that mean I don't know, whatever. While on the map, troops led by this commander have a 40 or the enhanced skill of stalwart. So this skill. While on the map, troops led by this commander have a 40% chance of get incoming skill damage reduced by 50% and deal skill damage up to 3 targets in a fan-shaped area. Damage factor 50. I think that's typed wrong. But still pretty cool skill. Yeah. Still really cool skill. Lots of cool skills. Now, I'll come back to this skill here in a minute. No, this skill here in a minute. So now I want to talk about Pical. Now, that's what his beautiful face looks like. Close. His first skill is Balanced Strategy. Deals skill damage to current target. And troops led by this commander gain a shield for 3 seconds, which can absorb a large amount of damage. 500. That is pretty amazing. I kind of guessed this. I guessed it would be a little bit different. I guess that it would have like an absorb shield, which would then let go of skill damage was like a percentage. I think that would be way cooler because then it would make it so he was unswarmable, so forth and so on. But they added other skills in it to make him, unswarmable. The second skill, passive, infantry units led by this commander gain 30% increased health, 15% increased march speed. Now, this with CJG is going to be so fast. It's insane. When this commander launches a rally attack, all damage dealt is increased by 5%. That's all damage. All damage. Disgusting. Really good. Divine Sovereignty. When attacking strongholds or cities, infantry led by this commander gain 40% increased attack and 20% of dispelling any current active slow, poison, exhaust, or other weakening effect. This skill can be triggered up once every 10 seconds. Now, 20% chance isn't a lot. So it means one out of five, pretty much, possible that it casts. The 40% attack on stronghold is pretty nice though. This this is a pretty good skill. You would think that it's overpowered, but I don't think it is too bad. So sucks because my Tamiris or my other, every archer debuff, because that's all archers do is debuff and skill damage. Yeah, whatever. The fourth skill is passive skill reduces all damage taken by. No, I thought this was all skill damage, but all damage taken by 10%. While on the map, reduces all damage taken when surrounded. Bonus reduction equals number of surrounding enemies times 5%. Damn. That means that you cannot be swarmed. Pakal will just have to be. Yeah, you pretty much can't. you can't be swarmed. Could you imagine? Um, defense tree and just going full damage reduction and just face tanking. I mean, you'll be able to face tank. You'll basically be able to tank like 500 million power people now, 250 million power people. You'll have all that extra attack, and you'll be able to tank it. It's pretty cool. Uh, Last skill, passive skill, new skill, whatever. When this commander launches rally attack, all damage dealt is increased by 5%. So that's 10% overall. Troops led by this commander deal 3% increase to counter attack damage and take 20% less damage from all sources for 5 seconds after using an active skill. And I'm guessing this effect can only be procced once every 5 or 8 seconds or something like that. Crazy, crazy skill. Both of these commanders insanely good. So what does that mean for archers? It means we're screwed. I think that means we are going to get an archer attack garrison next setup. Um, I think it's yeah, I think that's the only way. And I think that officially they will dip into archers doing slows and other things like more attack damage. 'Cause it seems like archers just always go to this weird skill damage bursty, and it's really cool and it does a lot of AoE, but at the same time, if you go look at the field, it's still always Guans, Alex, Richards, Constantines, Attila Takeda's, Jean, XY, Jean Yu. And it's always like the same stuff. And yeah, archers are still in the field and they still do a lot of AoE, so that's why they're useful. Your Cyrus, YSG, Nebuchadnezzar, Artemisia, they have a lot of value, but skill damage just isn't as, how do you say it, as strong as full attack damage nowadays. So I think with the fact that CYJ or CJG, gosh, it's gonna get his skill here reduce all skill damage. I think that's gonna make it so it's gonna open up the door for archers to be more attack heavy, which would be really cool because then we can finally mix maybe, who knows, maybe we can mix. Ramses and YSG was so good because it was heavy additional damage, attack damage, and skill damage, and it worked out really well. You know, uh, Cyrus and Nebuchadnezzar is okay, but it's all skill damage. There is no attack damage, and I could show you guys. I should show you guys sometime though, like a Cyrus and a Neb in a rally of like 600k. It'll attack like a barb fort for like 8,000 damage, 8,000 white hit. But then the skill damage is pretty high, which is pretty decent. If you had a Ramses and a Nebuchadnezzar in there, you are now attacking that thing for 14,000 white hit damage, and then hitting it with the skill damage. So you're basically taking off another 6,000 per hit until the skill damage hits off. So it's interesting, but so that gets me to the next part of the video that I don't want to take too long on, but I want to ask everyone what their ideas on what commanders they think we'll get. Uh, it cannot be mythology. It cannot be. I mean, it can't be like fake. Like King Arthur was technically, I guess, real, but you really can't use non-actual figures because it doesn't seem like we've done a lot of it in this game. Like yeah, they added Lu Bu, but Lu Bu was actually a person, and he did fight in wars, and he was a great commander. Um, they added Mulan, but she was also technically a warrior. So I mean, like, who do you think you guys will see or we will see in the future? I mean, we got Leonidas. I mean, do you think we'll go as far back as you know insane fighters like Joshua or maybe Philip the Second? Philip the Second was a great Greek fighter, I think, or he conquered the Greek states. So let me move my stuff around here so I'm not looking at a different screen. What happened? But yeah, I mean, like realistically, if you think about it, no, we monitor two. No, that's not right. There we go. No, that's monitor. There we go. All right. So, all right. So, I mean, realistically, though, Philip II could be a good commander. Philip II actually was in the he was on the in Infinity Kingdom, so that would be pretty cool too. Um, and he, was around Alexander the Great. The Qin Shi Huang, I think, was one of the first emperors of China. He built the Great Wall. He also was a pretty big conqueror. Um, and that was, oh man, that was BC era. So, but I mean, like if you think about, it, we've got Alexander the Great, which was BC. We've got Hannibal, Scipio, Julius Caesar. Um, a lot of BC. Attila the Hun was technically, I don't know, Attila the Hun was a little bit after. So he was a little AD, maybe like 400s or something like that, if I remember. Um, I mean, Herman was right around there. We could do, they could do Marcus Agrippa, I guess. But I think Octavian was more, no, yeah, I think they were more infantry. They'd be more infantry fighters. Um, I thought the next Cavs commander would be Al Walid, but I think we had some issues with that, and then yeah, I think the game had some issues. China, China had some issues. We've got William already, Charlemagne, Belisarius, um, El Cid, Saladin. Uh, One that I think could be interesting because, like, so Genghis Khan or Genghis Khan, however you technically say it, uh, he had some generals, and one of his main generals or commanders was Sabudai. And Sabudai is really cool because he used siege. Now, Genghis Khan, even though he's a Cavs commander in this game, he was really well known for riding around on his horse and shooting his bow and arrow, something that people don't really read about, but he was really badass with it. So that would be really cool. Um, and then, um, yeah, I mean, he had Sebudai who would use siege, and that would be pretty cool. Like, I could see Sebudai being one of the next upcoming leadership commanders and them actually having a siege rally commander. That would be pretty cool. Because right now people don't build siege. They're just useless. Just throw them away, whatever. So that would be interesting. Um, what else? Uh, they could do Alexander Nevsky. Alexander Nevsky was pretty good. He was I think he used boats though. I think he was more of a boater. So that would be another one that would be interesting when the boats concept comes out. Maybe they'll have him, doing that. Um, who else is there? There's the oh man, I'm gonna say this wrong. It would be nice to have a pretty cool Turkish commander, Suleiman. Suleiman. He was a sultan. He, I believe, did some pretty cool fighting too. He would be a great addition. Tamerlane is a Turkish, I believe. Commander. He would also be another really cool one. He defeated a huge Russian army. Man, there's so many good ones. It's funny because I look at all this stuff and I did not realize that Frederick the Great was so recent. I mean, 1700s, almost 1800s. I mean, it would be cool to have a lot of it'd be cool to have a lot of the like cool ones we get to read about, like Geronimo, Shaka Zulu, uh, Louis Botha. I mean, there's so many cool ones that we could have. I mean, they could almost be like a barbarian civilization where they fight for their country and people and free them and stuff. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, once you get past that time frame, where Frederick is, then you start getting into guns and tanks and stuff. And I don't know if they'll go that far in this game. But leave a comment what you guys will think will happen. Um, I'd be really interested. I mean, there are so many great commanders. There's so many great Chinese, Korean, Japanese, uh, commanders from Africa, India. I mean, Turkey. Like, there are so many great ones. But I'm really, really interested just on how they're going to make that transition and if they're going to transition into guns. Like, I don't know. I'd be very interested. Like, or are they just going to cut it off and then they're going to do like that Warframe game or Warfare game that they do? But other than that, that's all I was going to really talk about today. I'm pretty excited to see the new Infantry Commanders, even though they are not a part of my game, which is very disappointing. I probably will not get them. But yeah, uh, I'll probably have a few more videos in the next couple days with my beautiful, clean shaven face. And thanks for stopping by. Peace. Oh man, my window's not closed though. I'm like the epitome. I'm like the $2 version of all the good streamers because they have all these like cutaways, and then there's me failing